Welcome to the Thriving Podcast. Stay tuned for a message from our honorary chair.
If this is your first time hearing of Black Professionals Month, you'll be surprised to learn that the mission of this global initiative is to propel both your career and wealth creation as we showcase our best and brightest. Over the course of 31 days, you'll be exposed to a unique blend of accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs who not only lead by example, but have no problem sharing their best practices.
Today's episode, How to Stay Relevant and Valued in Your Career During the Era of AI, features 4 remarkable AI experts who are part of the ICABA-AI Accelerators. The AI Accelerators are a collective of AI experts, innovators, influencers, and master users. We are leaders who are passionate about helping people and organizations thrive in this new era of artificial intelligence. Each of us brings a unique perspective, from technology and innovation to leadership, operations, and strategy. But we share one clear purpose: to bridge the gap between AI's potential and its real-world application. We don't just talk about AI, we demystify it, humanize it, and make it accessible. Our focus is on helping individuals, teams, and organizations use AI responsibly and effectively to enhance creativity, efficiency, and decision-making. This work connects directly to ICABA's mission to identify, connect, and activate the Black accomplished, building a thriving and trusted global community of Black professionals and entrepreneurs. Through the AI Accelerators, we're driving that mission forward, leading the charge in AI adoption and digital transformation within the Black community and across organizations everywhere. We also align with ICABA's vision to create a trusted global ecosystem of more than 1 million Black professionals and entrepreneurs, leveraging relationships, sharing knowledge, and activating opportunities to grow wealth and strengthen leadership capacity. Ultimately, our goal is to help people see AI not as something to fear, but as a tool that can amplify their value, extend their reach, and multiply their impact in their work, their leadership, and their legacy. Let's begin.
Good morning. My name is Angela B. James, and hello again. Well, not really again, because what you just heard wasn't me speaking at all. That was actually my AI cloned voice. It's a perfect example of how powerful this technology has become and why understanding how to use it responsibly matters. AI can copy a sound, a voice, an image, yes, even in some form, a person, but it can't replace vision, integrity, wisdom, or leadership. And that's exactly why we're here today, to talk about how we can use AI responsibly and intentionally with purpose, with confidence, and with impact. So let's meet our panelists. Abdul Muhammad. Abdul Muhammad is the President and Chief Growth Officer of MDM Ventures with over 25 years of experience, guiding executives, entrepreneurs, and change makers toward growth, clarity, and impact. He fuses mindful leadership, modern business strategy, and AI innovation to help leaders scale their businesses, build high-performing, value-driven cultures rooted in confidence, compassion, and conscious success. Next, we have Grant McGaugh. Grant is an AI strategist specializing in personal branding and business growth. He helps entrepreneurs, executives, and emerging leaders use AI to amplify their presence, build authentic brands, and scale influence. His data-driven, human-centered approach blends technology and storytelling to drive lasting success. Nilda Thomas. Nilda Thomas is the founder and chief AI officer of Business AI Consulting and the creator of the AI Workforce Pro enablement system. With over 20 years in tech-driven transformation, she helps organizations adopt AI through strategic consulting, training, and tools. Author of AI for Executives and a national thought leader in AI workforce development. And finally, Stephanie Sylvester. Stephanie is the co-founder of Avatar Buddy, a managed AI as a service company that creates function-specific AI agents and digital twins, which runs on a proprietary small language model. Their AI advisors ensure that you maximize your AI investments. Our moderator for today's session is known globally. He is the Chief Servant Officer of ICABA World Network and the visionary behind Black Professionals Month. He is a global community builder, thought leader, trainer, coach, and master connector. Please welcome Jerome Hutchinson to lead us in our discussion. Hutch, take it away.
Thanks, Angela. I would be remiss if I didn't tell our audience about the incredible impact you've had on our organization and our growth. And we're so excited that you're a part of ICABA and Black Professionals Month. Angela Reed James is the founder and CEO of Angela Reed James Consulting, where she brings clarity to chaos with structure and strategy. Her clients include the Advanced Leadership Institute, Black Professionals Month, and ICABA. With over 20 years in corporate operations, customer experience, and workforce management, Angela has led major transformation efforts that improve performance and elevate how organizations serve both their people and their customers. Today, she helps businesses bridge the gap between people and technology, guiding leaders from idea to implementation and helping them build strategies that make technology work for them. Within this group, she is known as the AI Boogeyman Demystifier, helping take the fear out of AI and non-tech users, turning uncertainty into curiosity and confidence. Angela, thank you for all your support. All right, so now we're going to jump into some questions for our distinguished panel of AI experts. And the first question is, AI is changing what value looks like in nearly every industry. How should professionals redefine their value proposition to remain relevant, especially when automation threatens traditional roles? And I want to ask that Grant McGaugh take the first stab at the question. Grant.
Well, thank you so much, Hutch. Thank you for having me with this esteemed panel. This is a very, very important subject that we are talking about. This is a game changer for business. When you think about what AI is doing and will do in the future of how business is conducted, we've got to start looking at it through the lens of the past. That lens, we're talking about the agricultural age, the manufacturing age, what we call the information age. Now we're talking about the intelligent technology age. This will fundamentally change everything that we do from a business and finance perspective. So if we do not get on top of this right now, we will be woefully behind in what we are trying to accomplish from a business development standpoint. So having these types of discussions that we are having now positions us to be leaders in this field. Do not feel like this is not for you. This is for everyone, just like mathematics is for everyone. Being able to have spelling is for everyone, just as a foundation for conducting everyday life. AI will be that type of application in everything we do as we start thinking about how the internet has changed our lives. How am I coming to you right now over these particular devices? AI is a game changer and will be a thinking type application alongside the human element. So think of HI, human intelligence, with AI, artificial intelligence, creating a HAI, symbiotic relationship as we go forward.
Well, thank you, Grant. I really appreciate your response and input on that. And I want to ask Abdul to come up and clean up the bat.
Well, as always, I appreciate those nugs of whiz that were just, shared there by Grant. And I really think about this moment in time and what it calls for from professionals is to really just evolve the thinking. So let's move beyond task-driven transformation, right? We've got to shift from task-driven orientation in what we do in our workplace and take on transformation-driven orientation. And that's a mindset shift where we look at AI as not a replacement of the people in human resources, but replacing the patterns that we as people used to take on, right? So the real value now is understanding the capacity that each and every one of us have for creativity, our unique curiosity and perspective, and then the conscious decision-making that when you think about things in a creative, curious way, it shifts the old patterns that allow us to expose new opportunity. So in my work at MDM Ventures, for example, we help executives, founders integrate AI without losing their humanity. And when you look at a recent McKinsey report showing that generative AI could add 4.4 trillion annually to the global economy, but it highlights within that growth, 70% of those are tasks in marketing, communication, and leadership functions. And all of those things can be automated. So if you're doing what can be automated, you're competing with the code. So the opportunity is to shift from doing to designing, right? As Grant mentioned, it's about our human intelligence and how AI can amplify our intuition rather than replacing it. That's why I teach AI integrated mindful leadership. It's a new shift in the culture. And my mantra is always automation handles information, but you handle the transformation, right? And so that really gets down to the core of what I'd like to share is AI doesn't replace people. It replaces patterns. That's number one. And your value isn't in what you do. It's how you think about things, right? So automation handles information and humans, our humanness, that human intelligence handles the transformation we're looking for in regards to growth as an individual, and then that as a catalyst for growth in the business.
Well, Abdul, as always, man, you bring things always into the mindfulness perspective. And, as we do that, I want to also now take a look because AI can perform a lot of tasks, okay? However, we are probably still the strategic thinker in this process. And so as we think about that, you don't have to be a programmer to be AI savvy. You need to be strategic. And I really want to emphasize that what does being strategic look like with AI for someone who is in a non-technical role? So I'm going to ask Nilda if she would take a stab at sharing with us, this discussion here about how does strategic look for someone with AI who's not in a technical role?
Thank you for that question, Hutch. Being strategic actually means asking smarter questions, not writing code. It's knowing how to identify repetitive work, creating better prompts, and also using data to make faster decisions. So, for example, I have a nonprofit client who used ChatGPT to draft a grant proposal. But what made it powerful wasn't the tool itself. It was the strategy behind it. Identifying funders, tailoring your tone, and saving hours every week. And AI can actually reduce RFP response times by 30 to 50% and increase overall efficiency in proposal management by 20 to 40%. So AI strategy is what this looks like today for professionals.
Well, thanks a lot, Nilda. I really, I'm so glad that you're here, because you're bringing an everyday coach perspective to this and helping people as it relates to AI. And I want to ask Angela to kind of step in and lean into this issue we're talking about right now as well. And because, you know, she really is the AI demystifier. So, Angela.
Sure. A lot of people, when you talk about AI, I hear a lot of people say, I'm not into that new technical stuff. I really don't do technical stuff. But when we think back to during the times of the pandemic, which now seems so far away, AI really helped us survive that time in our lives. You think about the delivery services, you think about how hospitals were able to survive and learning what their capacity was, the distribution of the COVID immunizations. All of these things were done through the use of AI, right? I think about, I worked at a call center and being able to shift our entire team home and provide them with the tools and the equipment to be able to continue to service our patients and our customers. You think about when you are watching Amazon and it gives you an idea of what you can watch next. When you think about you're going to use your Waze to route to the next location, your cell phone, when you get a fraud alert, all of these things are driven by AI. So you're already using it, whether you are technical or not. It's part of your everyday life. So you need to get away from, I'm not a techie person. You don't have to be a techie person to embrace the concept of AI.
That is great, Angela. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. You simply just have to understand that it's there and embrace how to be comfortable with letting it enhance how you live on a daily life.
You know, one of the things I want to add before we go to the next topic here on AI and being relevant, the whole strategic piece. One of the things that another one of our AI Accelerator group members showed me and really made me understand about how you make your AI your partner. And when you are talking to your AI and prompting it, think about that. Like if you're sitting down with a partner and you're trying to address either a problem, solution, create an opportunity, talk to your AI. And when you create the prompt in that kind of way, tell the AI who it is. So you're an expert on marketing. 2, tell the AI what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. And then tell them what the outcome should look like. And you will be amazed that when you make those changes in how you prompt, the value of what you get back from your AI when you're using something like ChatGPT. So I want to talk a little bit about amplifying, you know, your impact. How can tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, LinkedIn Analytics, any of those help you to amplify your voice, your brand, your leadership influence while embracing the human touch? Because that's important. We don't want to lose that human touch. And so now I want to ask Nilda to take a stab at that. And then after that, Grant, I want you to chime in.
Okay. I love this one because AI actually levels the playing field. Tools like Copilot and ChatGPT, you know, can really help us create thought leadership content, analyze, you know, what topics your audience responds to and stay consistent without burnout. So for example, I use AI to repurpose my own posts into newsletters, LinkedIn carousels. But the human touch is in the storytelling and being authentic. And I help you. It helps you speak louder, but you still have to bring that message. So whenever I use the various tools, I will use various tools. I might put the same prompt in there, and then I will take bits and pieces and then also make it my own. And one thing I'd like to mention also with Hutch's previous comment is that it's important to train your AI. Many people don't realize you have to train the AI. You have to train the AI on your company. You have to train the AI on your person. So you have various personas. And that way the prompts and the outcome that you receive will be more, sound more authentic and more like you and not robotic.
I agree with you, Nilda. And going back to what Hutch was saying, and you were saying also, that people are asking the question, why should I be involved in AI in the first place? And I would ask yourself, if you are in business, if you are pursuing your career, it's all about speed to market. If you can do things quicker, faster, and more precise, then you want to start looking at AI. And then when it comes to personalization and customization, what a lot of people don't realize, and what Hutch is talking about, is that you can then take your ChatGPT and actually upload the information about yourself. You want it to be as exact as possible, so it's not giving you generic responses. You want it to be a tool for you to utilize, so you get to a point you can't discern something that you've written as opposed to something that your AI has written for you. But it's all about speed to market. That is the number one key. How can I create financial impact quicker as opposed to me doing it myself? It's just as fast as if I can walk to work, or should I take the bus to work, or should I drive myself to work? Or can I be instantaneously at the job? This is the AI difference. If I can do things quicker, faster, and more precise, why wouldn't I? Now, you're going to have to look at your own applications, your own technology stack that you use on a daily basis. And we're talking about your Microsoft. Everybody here most likely knows how to operate Word or PowerPoint or things of that nature. You need to become as versant in AI technology. We're not just talking ChatGPT here. You can make things like a PowerPoint presentation in seconds using applications like Gamma.ai. I want people to understand this. You can give it the information. It will recreate a professional presentation for you in seconds. You need to tweak it. You need to humanize it. You need to then shape it. So if you can automate 80% of what you're doing from a task perspective when it comes to text, audio, or video, and then take that other 20% to shape it, to use your applied knowledge and your context of what you are delivering to the audience, or what you are delivering, maybe it's on social media, or it's going to be the next meeting that you're going to walk into, you're going to be impressive. This is the type of technology that makes a difference. It's either you plus AI, or it's just you. I'm going to choose me plus AI.
Well, Grant, you have done a phenomenal job with AI, just like everyone on our panel has. And I think when, early on, Angela made a statement, or I should say Angela's cloned voice made the statement that when we're talking about AI, it's really something not to be afraid of. It is not a competitor. It is your partner. And one of the things that I've been so much of an advocate and on my soapbox about as it relates to AI is that it is one of the greatest things to help professionals and entrepreneurs, particularly small business people and those people who are early in your career or wherever you are in your career, to get, if you will, the access to information and productivity that cost literally millions of dollars just years before. And the ability to be able to leverage it in that kind of way to improve your career, business, and life is phenomenal. I want to talk about now a little bit about a mindset shift. And we got Mr. Mindfulness here with us, Abdul Muhammad. So I'm going to ask him to start out talking about the personal qualities or habits that have helped you, or those you coach, Abdul, develop a AI resilient mindset, and also to help them to adapt to the rapid change that we're seeing in the marketplace, particularly due to technology today.
Well, thank you very much. And I'll first start with this advice. We all need to just take pause and just take a nice deep breath. Let that out. And then now you're in a better place to create. And that applies to everything in life. And AI is just one of those things. And so what we just did, rather briefly, was we got our minds to stop the thinking and connecting to the human spirit, the human element. And at MDM, we focus on the three things that will never change about business: the people, the brand, and the technology. And by focusing on those three things, that shifts the mindset and sets you up for resilience, because no matter what happens, those things core to business will never change. The people will always be reflected in the brand if done intelligently, because people do business with people. And then the brand, right, is reflected in the essence of who we are. As Hutch just introduced me, he said, Abdul, the mindful guy. Everybody kind of knows what my thing is. That's my ultimate differentiator. And so we look at this question of resilience and how we get AI resilient mindset is first taking on what I coach myself every day with that pause, that breathe in, let out, and create, shifting, right, to my prefrontal cortex by managing my humanity. This is mindfulness. And these 3 M's are the 3 M's for AI resilience: mindfulness, mastery, and momentum. Mindfulness, mastery, and momentum. These are the 3 E's for AI resilience. Mindfulness keeps us adaptable, right? So the one thing we know is that things will always change in business and in our own selves, right? That whole growth mindset keeps you adaptable. And oftentimes we get stuck and rigid and so attached to how things are. That sets yourself up for failure. You can't outthink what you haven't slowed down to understand. Let me say that again. You cannot outthink what you haven't slowed down to understand.
Man, that, is gosh, I mean, Abdul, that's so powerful, man. Because in this world, everything is moving so fast and people are feeling overwhelmed in some cases. And I think you just gave some really great advice, and I'm going to remember too, because there are times when we all need to.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
I look at it. I just want to close with a couple of things that sort of close in what you say. I look at it as breathe before you build, right? Just take that on. Breathe before you build. Understand that stillness is a superpower in the age of speed. You don't have to compete with AI. You just collaborate with it. And when you slow your mind, you speed up your mastery. When you slow your mind, you're able to speed up your mastery. AI gives you more time to be human. And that's your competitive edge in this space and place. When friends of mine call me every day about being displaced, I'm talking people who are sharp, people who have been in the business for 20, 30 years. They're being displaced without a day. You're not empowered if you don't understand this resilience mindset. And AI gives you more time to be human. People do business with human. Use the technology to scale.
Abdul, again, I just think that you've really added a great perspective to this. And it's even biblical. I tell people today, I've got 2 partners in my business now. One of them is AI, but my longtime partner and my all-time partner is God. Mm-hmm. And one of the things God says is, peace be still. Mm-hmm. Peace be still. All right, Stephanie. Has Stephanie joined us here?
She hasn't been able to join yet.
Just trying to get on. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask that Nilda, as we're talking about this, take a additional perspective as to this topic about how we can look at the personal qualities of a AI resilient mindset and adapt to this rapid change we're dealing with.
Yes, I think Abdul mentioned something about curiosity. And so I think that's the one biggest thing is curiosity, because you can't lead change if you're afraid to experiment, right? And so I tell leaders to give themselves permission to play with AI. You don't have to be perfect. It's just progress. Take it one step at a time. Like they say with the elephant, eat one bite at a time, right? And then there's also the emotional intelligence. So knowing how people react to change, because this is a big change and a lot of people don't like change, and it's huge. And so once they realize that AI is not as complex as they think, they start to embrace it. And the ones that are thriving right now, aren't the tech geniuses. They're the ones who combine learning agility with empathy. And so I tell people, just as Abdul mentioned, I like that, breathe in and breathe out, and that's great. So you don't want to be afraid to experiment.
Well, we definitely have to experiment, and nobody has accomplished anything great who did not have also some failure. Because you have to fail in order to be able to succeed. I mean, all I gotta do is take a look at Thomas Edison when he discovered the light bulb, and initially said he found 10,000 ways first how not to do it, and finally on the 10,001 try, he made it work. I mean, so it is a part of the process. And I think what I'm hearing is such a common thread with all of you guys. And that is, as high tech clearly as AI is, there's still, if you will, high tech, high touch. There's still the human touch. There's still the person, because AI is a tool, a very sophisticated tool, but no doubt about it. And we still got a couple of more minutes here. So I'm going to ask Grant for you to lean in a little bit to this topic that we're talking about, AI resilient mindset, Grant, and the being able to adapt to the rapid change in technology, the marketplace, and society.
This is important. I've been in information technology since 1998. I probably even, before that. So I've seen a lot of different reiterations and different kinds of technology that have been brought to the market for a number of different reasons. The number one thing that we always run across when you're coming from my lens, to someone who's providing the technology, is the adoption rate. A lot of times, it sounded like a great idea within certain departments. You deploy it, and then no one really starts to utilize it the way it was supposed to. And then you miss out on the ROI, the return on investment, or the return on invested capital. It takes a long time to realize. I want people to understand that in the world of AI, this is the most adopted or the fastest adopted technology in human history. That's saying a lot. We're talking about things like fire or the wheel or the automobile or electricity. And because of our technological society that's already been built out, when it talks about the internet and you start looking at social media and you start looking at cloud computing, when AI, which has been around for 20 plus years, got its mojo because of these other technological advances, it was ready. And because, unfortunately or fortunately, things like COVID started to say, hey, you know what? We've got to start looking at this technology a little differently, not as a something to use, but a need. It's something that we need to scale worldwide. We have scaled internationally more in the last 4 to 5 years than we've done ever in human history, especially in the United States. That's opened up markets that were traditionally not even looked into. And I want our entrepreneurs to really think about this. Don't think about just doing business in your local community. Start thinking about doing business in regional world, in the national scope, international. You start thinking and looking at ways of how this technology in the tech world is ubiquitous around the planet. So now you have nation states. Now you have tech states. This is a fundamental change in how human beings have looked at life in general. You don't look at just what are the borders of AI when you start thinking about it? What are the borders of the internet as you start thinking about it? There are different nuances and changes when it comes to how to use the tech, but you see Facebook is everywhere. Things like YouTube is everywhere. This is a fundamental shift in human behavior. And we start to think about these things. How do you then apply this kind of knowledge? And this is where I want people to sit back and look at things a little differently. It's not so much how other people are utilizing it. How can you utilize it? What can you do from a way of how you communicate, and then how you can do it quicker? There are two things that technology does better than anything else that we know of in this world. That is communication, and that is speed. And if you can communicate at scale very quickly, you have something that is a model that can scale and grow fiscally, financially, greater and more, or I would say greater velocity than anything else that has been created. So we're talking about billionaires. We're probably looking at the first trillionaire in Elon Musk. This is fundamental. You've got to get on board with this to scale financially through this world, because it's going to become more complex if you do not.
Spot on, Grant. Spot on, brother. That was really great comment. And it makes such a great shift, if you will, kind of transition and segue into our next, topic that we want to address here. And I want to just take a moment as we're talking about, AI and how to stay relevant and valuable, in the era of AI. And, the AI Accelerator group at ICABA is going to be starting a series of workshops on AI, but we're going to get into very specific, if you will, AI applications and other kind of things, strategies, techniques, tactics, tools, and so on and so forth. But we thought it was important today to really focus in on the mindset and to really introduce ourselves to you and help you to know that we're not just going to come and try to talk tech speak to you. We're going to really talk to you in a way that's going to help you to be able to understand, embrace, and apply technology in a way within the human context, because we're all humans and we want to connect on that level. And I want to also, if you will, put a piece in here as it relates to the fact that this is Black Professionals Month. And we are using Black Professionals Month at ICABA in order to showcase Black excellence, to advance wealth creation, and to elevate our leadership presence worldwide. And connecting and collaborating and building community is very much a big part of that. And so when we talk about this human advantage and how we can leverage AI, I want to mention this, and then we're going to drop into get some comments back from Nilda and from Grant, as well as Abdul, about how we can use collaborative success platforms like ICABA in order to grow. And I'll give you one perfect example. We're looking right now at the integration of AI into our platform. You go on to LinkedIn or another platform, or hopefully you're on the ICABA community, and you're looking for somebody that you want to connect with who can help you to do some business, or somebody that you might be able to hire because they have a skill set. And today you go search and you type in what you're looking for. Well, before you know it, I think within the next couple of months, you're going to come onto our platform, and our platform is going to talk to you through our AI. And the AI is going to say to you, Abdul, we know that based upon the fact that you're into mindfulness, you're into AI, and you're into digital marketing, we just found somebody here that came in and they're looking for somebody to assist them with their digital marketing. We've found somebody, Grant, that really needs to understand and do a better job of personal branding. So be sure to reach out with Nilda, because she needs something that you're looking for. And so those are ways in terms of enabling AI to enhance the collaborative advantage that ICABA brings to the table. And so I want to talk about how AI can process data, but we also understand that while it processes data, it can't replicate empathy, ethics, or creativity. So talking about how we as Black professionals can intentionally strengthen these human skills to stay indispensable. And I think as we're using platforms like Thriving on ICABA-TV, bringing together our members who are sharing their information, their talent, and their expertise, is one of the ways that can be done. And we're encouraging folks to be a part of this. And so I'm going to ask that Grant, you take off, if you will, the handoff, and continue to talk about this topic here, the human advantage.
Well, this is important to understand as we are moving rapidly into this, what I call intelligent technology space. You've got the fundamentals. A lot of people are very understanding of what generative AI is, ChatGPT, an LLM, large language model. That is the engine block of what is now coming out, which is called agentic AI. What Hutch is talking about now is not just taking a prompt and then getting feedback back, where it's giving you a very clean, I would say, text information about a subject that you have. Now you're having the machine actually do work for you, actually have outcomes, actually have goals, being able to perform functions. It can perform functions like scheduling. It can perform functions in your CRM system to understand who are your suspects, your prospects, and your clients, and be able to give them what I call tier 1 information back to them, whether it's through a text message. You won't be able to discern if you're talking to a bot or an actual person, especially if you're using an interface like texting, for so to speak. This is a very, very important thing. Now, this is not something to be scared of. It's something to be aware of, because this is how you're going to scale at speed and to take your business from whether it's a 5-figure business to a 6 or 7-figure business. And if you're in the career space, how are you going to be able to drive your departments and your teams to get greater outputs? Look at this as just a mirror. I know people get into the definitions of this is how human is different from the artificial intelligence or the machine. That's not the point. The point is that you now have a mirror that you can duplicate yourself in other ways that you could not do before. And if you've got something that you had to spend cycles of time on yourself, and now you can outsource that to a function that can do this at scale, at pennies on the dollar. This is very important, because to take an FTE, a full-time employee, to do this kind of work could cost you $40,000 to $50,000, in which a agentic AI model can do this for pennies on the dollar. This will fundamentally change how we're going to be doing business. And if you do not get on board on this train and understand how to deploy these types of technologies in your own business, you will find yourself behind.
Fantastic. Nilda, jump in on this.
Yes, I definitely like to jump in on this. And so as the creator of the AI Workforce Pro, part of what we do is we also provide AI literacy. It's very important to understand how to use AI responsibly, ethically, to also be able to understand how to prompt. A lot of people don't know how to prompt, and I find that that's one of the biggest issues that people are having problems with. And so one of the tools that I created was a prompt generator. And so there, it's by industry, also by role. And so it basically takes your industry, you put in what industry you're in, what the role is. Maybe it's a marketing manager or marketing director. So it's different roles. And then it also goes into, like, what are you trying to create? What content basically are you trying to create? And then after that, then you end up putting the context. And a lot of people miss that piece when they're prompting. You have to put context into your prompt in order to be able to get the output that you want. And then once all of that is put in there, then it actually creates the prompt for you. And then I have some programming on the back end that you can copy that prompt and you can put it into ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini or Claude, and put it in there, and it'll create the content that you're looking for. And one thing also with AI is that you always need to dig deeper. So whatever the output is, you don't want to take that verbatim. You also have to do your fact checking, but also you have to put that human touch in there to make it your own, and then also then be able to deliver it to the world or whatever you're trying to do. One of the other things you heard Angela's AI clone voice in the beginning. Well, Grant had mentioned about thinking globally. You can also clone yourself and have an avatar that can speak different languages. And so that's another way to be able to get to expand your business and to go global. So that's something that I think that people really need to learn, is that AI literacy is key, so you can use it properly.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, back in the old days when the computer was first coming into being, the personal computer, that is, you were reminded, if you learn how to do any kind of programming, garbage in, garbage out, and so whatever you put into it, I mean, computers and AI will help you to do things at a lightning speed that you never thought you could get done so fast before. But if you start out wrong, you're going to do a whole lot of things at lightning speed that are wrong. So you definitely want to get, that prompt right. I'd like to segue into talking about the power of community. Collaboration is really not optional. For those of us in the technology space, we have all been very aware of this thing called API. Computers were one time, if you bought one software, it did not work with the other software. But, 20 years ago, it became very clear that if you wanted to be successful in technology and putting your software in there, it needed to be able to communicate and interact and integrate with other software out there that was of like-minded or similar kind of, if you will, use. We as people have to be just as aggressive about that as well. And I think that collaboration is the API for individuals, and community is definitely how we make that happen. And so collaboration is not optional. It is essential for our growth and our success. So we want to talk about the role that networks play, like ICABA and BPM, in helping professionals stay ahead, and how can we make those spaces more valuable? There is only one person I know who probably talks about ICABA better than I do, and his name is Abdul Muhammad. So Abdul, I'm going to take this over to you to talk about the answer to this question. What role do networks like ICABA and BPM play in helping professionals stay ahead, and how can we as professionals in those networks make them even more valuable?
Thank you, Hutch. It's always been my pleasure to support the vision, mission that you set out with this servant leaderhood and, really stepping into that socialpreneur. So I'm gonna get right into it and state that for me, community is the new currency. Yeah, community is the new currency. There's no one innovates in isolation anymore. So we put a lot of emphasis on innovation and tech, but you can't get to that without community. So community is the new currency. Networks like ICABA and BPM are more than just professional circles, right? It's really an ecosystem of shared intelligence. And this gets to our true human nature, the neuroconnectors, right? So this is a reflection of what we really have in here, this ecosystem of shared intelligence. And ICABA is the physical manifestation of that. So here's the thing, AI, when you look at economy, and the advantage goes to the connected learners. MIT research found that teams using collaborative intelligence, humans and machines working together in a connected ecosystem, performed 20% better than teams relying on each other alone, even with skill sets that are unique to that particular core competency. When communities like this embrace that mindset, like ICABA, right? When we start to shift our whole culture, we stop gatekeeping and start group teaching. We learn to turn mentorship into collective mastery. And this is the power of networks like ICABA. We are able to make these spaces a more valuable, connected resource that goes beyond just networking to shift to transformation and co-creation, curating spaces and labs that are unique to reflect our unique DNA, right? Learning sprints we can go on together in ways that we couldn't alone. I know, Hutch, you always tell that, I don't want to say it because you always tell how you go at it together, you go far, go sure, you know how it is, right? I'm not going to try to mess that up. That's your thing, but I always love it. And when you look at that, we how do we go on these collective economic sprints? This is a collaborative case study, ICABA is, of how we can collectively apply AI and not just talk about it, but actually thrive together. And again, community is the new currency. The future belongs to us, we, the now, the connected learners. And we don't need more networks. We just need more neural networks of human beings. Let's not fear this AI. It just scales us, right? It scales this community energy. It scales the transformation that ICABA has been having for years. And in this era of AI, collaboration, as Hutch said, isn't optional. It's oxygen. Yeah, I had to go there because I'm all about that breath work, baby.
You're absolutely right, Abdul. Great comment. And so the quote that Abdul was talking about is a great African proverb, and that is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And it's such an important part. And I see even Randolph Dukes put it in there. So in case anybody missed it, that in terms of me speaking, it is now on the screen for you to see. We're at this point now where it's time to begin to wrap up. And I want to let you guys know we did go on a little bit further than we had originally intended. We spent a lot of time trying to get down our content and finally I just said, guys, we got such great content. We're just going to extend this thing another 15 minutes. I think people will stay with us. So I apologize for that. I also want to hats off to our production team, live stream editors, just doing a phenomenal job of keeping us on point and looking good here. And so as we get ready to have this call to lead, we want to look and go beyond adaptation. Let's lead with innovation. They say knowing is not enough, you must do. You must apply. Willing is not enough, you must do. So what does leadership look like in the AI era for Black professionals? How can we ensure that we are shaping, but not chasing the future? And so, Nilda, I'm going to ask you to start off with that, and we're going to ask everyone here, to really take just a couple of minutes to wrap up any comments from what you've talked about, anything that you've heard that you may want to reemphasize, or something that you think that may have been needed to be added that we didn't talk about?
Sure. So I look at leadership in this era, what means shifting from being a consumer to a creator. So shifting from being a consumer to a creator. So we can't just use the tools. We have to help design them. We have to help train them and also implement them responsibly. And that's why I created the AI Workforce Pro, to build internal capability, especially with Black-owned businesses and nonprofits. So we're not waiting for others to tell our story. True leadership is saying we belong in the boardroom where AI strategy is being decided.
Fantastic, Nilda. All right, over to you, Grant.
I love what she just said, and I think you should say that twice and say it twice on Sunday. This is very, very important. I'm all about acquiring a skill set. You can't just learn about these things. You can't just listen to what we're talking about on this particular AI accelerator. You're going to have to get in there and acquire the skill set. And that is why we've come up with our AI accelerator that we're going to be doing through ICABA for this very, very purpose, that you actually learn depending on where you're at in your life cycle. You might be a beginner, and that's okay. You may not know hardly anything about AI at this point, and that is okay. And then we want to get to that middle ground, and then to that expert level, so that we all upskill, that we acquire these skills in order to be leaders within our own communities and what we can bring to the table. What ICABA has built out is so important, is that you do have the online community, but then it brings you together with all these different tool sets, and that you can begin to create worlds, more or less, creative worlds. And I love that word, creative worlds, that we can all share in and grow within, and to create financial impact for everyone, so that we acquire the skill sets and the knowledge to take us to a level of competition that is second to none. And the only way to do that, to what Abdul said, is to bring us together and share our knowledge. We now have the platform to do that. And now we have the opportunity and actually the call to action to create this type of opportunity for everyone that wants to be involved.
Fantastic. Thank you, Grant. And I'm going to call on Angela James to chime in here, but I'm giving her, because she wasn't expecting to get pulled in right here. So, but I'm going to ask Abdul to give us a couple of words as we close out, and your closing thoughts, Abdul.
I appreciate it. And I love what you were saying, going beyond adoption and really taking ownership, in ICABA, but more importantly, as individuals, right? In really taking ownership of our own selves. And leadership is about, in this era of AI, about being an architect, not the algorithm. And when you look at, in particular for Black professionals, especially, it's more vital that, as Nilda said, we shift from consumer to creator and leverage the AI tools and training to really own them. When I was reading a Harvard Business Review study that found that companies with diverse leadership teams are 70% more likely to capture new markets. And I focus in my company on helping people and businesses grow. And so capturing new markets is huge. And when diverse leadership teams are 70% more likely, but yet and still, when you look at the representation of AI ethics, AI design, it remains under 5% diverse. And this is a huge opportunity for us. This gap is not just about access, it's about authorship. As we were talking about, we have to control the narrative, and this technology is our opportunity. There's no reparations, there's no gentrification going on when we see this opportunity and we take advantage of capturing these new markets. And so when I close this out to say just a few things, be the architect, not the algorithm. We always have created the culture. You know what I'm talking about. We've always created the culture. Now we must create the code. All right. So let's shift from that culture, still own that culture, right? But now how do we yin and yang it? How do we shadow and light it? Create the code. So diversity is not just representation. It's our ownership of this story. And we have to move towards not just adapting systems, but redesigning them in this new age. Because leadership for us, it isn't about control. It's about consciousness. And the future belongs to those conscious thinkers, and AI scales that technology and community scales that transformation. So I'll stop
Thank
there.
you. Appreciate that, Abdul. And so as we're closing out, Angela?
So my final word, true leadership in this season isn't about keeping pace with technology. It's about deciding where it goes and why. So for Black professionals, this means stepping beyond adoption and into agency, sitting at the table where AI ethics, equity, and access are being defined, not waiting to be invited, which is what we've had to do throughout our careers. What I hope everyone takes from today is that AI isn't here to replace your value. It's here to help reveal it. The real power isn't in the technology, but it's how we choose to use it. Whether you're a leader, an entrepreneur, or a team member, this moment is your invitation to lean in with curiosity instead of being afraid of it. My work centers on helping leaders and organizations bring clarity to chaos. It's aligning people, process, and technology so AI works for them, not over them. Because when we use it with intention, AI can amplify our vision, extend our reach, and strengthen how we serve. At the end of the day, it's not about mastering the machine. It's about mastering the mindset. We heard this over and over again today. The leaders who apply AI with integrity, with strategy and purpose will shape the future, but more importantly for the Black community, it will shape our future.
Wow. Thank you, Angela. Whoa, girl.
Oh.
What was that? Black girl power? Black girl magic? Let's get some more of that. Bill, I don't know if you want to come behind that, but step in there, girl.
I just want to say that I want to go back to the collaboration piece for a moment, is that, these spaces like ICABA are gold, because they create shared learning. So just imagine if every ICABA member committed to sharing one AI case use or lesson each month, we'd all accelerate faster together. So community shortens that learning curve. And then also, over the past 18 months, we've seen, explosive AI tools that have been launched, and they come on the scene every day. So the key is to navigating this fast-paced landscape is to focus. Again, don't try to master all of them at once. Just start with one, build confidence, and expand from there. And so if you're looking to deepen your understanding of AI strategic's potential, I invite you to explore my book, AI for Executives, A Blueprint for Success, Innovation, and Growth, that's now on Amazon.
And another author we have here, Mr. Grant McGaugh.
Well, thank Hutch. Here's my book right here. It just came out on Amazon. You can order it today. First Light. It is the brave path to authentic leadership. And within the book, I talk about how you can traverse the digital world. That's just one action of it, but it really is about you. It's about you and how you have to be brave in today's world. Brave is an acronym. It means being bold. It means being resilient. It means being authentic. It means having a vision and being able to execute. And that is what we are all about today. As I stated earlier, Hutch has built the system. We have a community that has the ability to now educate and to expand and to acquire the knowledge and skill sets that we need to compete and thrive in this world. So I'm loving the Thriving Podcast. Thank you so much, Hutch.
All right. Well, thank you, Grant. Well, thank you, everybody. A round of applause for Nilda, Grant, Angela, and Abdul. Thank you, guys. Great job. So I want to invite all of you to be a part of ICABA. As I sit here and I look at, these individuals, I've got Angela from Imperial, Pennsylvania. Detroit is where Nilda's coming from. We've got Grant McGaugh, who, depending upon what day it is, may either be in St. Croix, Miami, or Omaha, Nebraska. So they get it right. I didn't say Tulsa this time.
You got it right.
Also, we've got whether it's Miami or Fort Myers with Abdul Muhammad. It doesn't matter. We're using technology as the common denominator, the platform that keeps us all connected. I remember I met Nilda just a little bit over a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And who thought we would be on doing this podcast right now? But, you know, when you bring good people together and bring them in the room and give them a curated experience that allows them to be able to leverage their talent, their skills, their expertise, and their experience, great things happen. And that's what you're getting right now. And so we really thank everyone for being here. The subscription there, you can subscribe to ICABA right now and become a member at ICABAworldnetwork.com. Please join. We'd love to have you be a part of this. Please join in on Black Professionals Month as we go through the rest of this month. Thank you to everyone who has been on this journey with us today. To all of our panelists, and also to my great Chief Operating Officer, Renee Hastings, our great producer, May, and live stream editors and executive help now. We will see you next week. Same time, same bad place, as they say. One of my favorite shows as a kid. We'll see you next week on the Thriving Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In today's discussion, we've explored what it means to stay relevant and valued in the age of AI. We've seen that AI isn't replacing us, it's inviting us to lead differently, to create more, and to think bigger. And this is just the beginning. On October 28th, the AI Accelerators will host our official kickoff event, where we'll go deeper, answering more questions, sharing insights, tools, and resources to help you enhance your personal and business value. We'll also introduce the ICABA AI Accelerator's Deployment of AI for Black Professional Advancement Initiative, a powerful next step in equipping leaders to thrive in this new era. Trust me, you don't want to miss this kickoff event. It's your chance to move from understanding AI to activating it.